and welcome to my channel Paperbound. My name is Tori and I am so glad that you are here. Today we are going to be talking about Bone Crier's Moon by Catherine Purdy. This is a book that I just recently finished and let's talk about it. This book is the first in a young adult fantasy duology. There is a group of women called Bone Criers whose sole duty it is to shepherd the dead from this world onto the afterlife, whether that be Alara's heaven or Tyrus's underworld. But to gain the power to ferry the dead on the new moon, each woman must kill her one true love given to her by the gods. So our story follows three main characters primarily. You have Alis, who is a Bone Crier, and she is the daughter of the leader of their family. She is headstrong, fearless, what you would think of in a young adult female protagonist. She has never wanted anything more than to be a farrier and join the other women ferrying the dead. And in the midst of those dreams, she also wants to impress her mother, who she always feels shows more affection to her best friend, who is our second main character, and that is Sabine, who is also a Bone Crier. However, unlike Alis, Sabine never really wanted to be a farrier. She has a hard time killing animals for food or to get the graces that they need to become farriers. She is much softer and really doesn't want to be part of that life. But they are best friends, just like sisters. And our third main character is Bastian, who is a boy whose father long ago was killed by a Bone Crier, and he has sworn revenge on all of them. So when I think about reviewing books, I split it up into four main parts, and that would be writing, plot, characters, and then enjoyment. Those are four components that I think are in every book. So we'll just work our way through that. Plot. I would say in this book, there's a plot. At first you think the plot is one thing, Alis becoming a farrier and Sabine overcoming her dislike of those kinds of things, Bastian seeking revenge, and then of course their stories become intertwined and a new story emerges. I'll say since this is the first book in a duology, it really is setting up the plot for I think the second book. A lot happens, but you're not really sure where we're going. You're kind of uncovering that. I feel like I'm being very, very vague. I don't want to spoil anything. Leads me to the second component, which is characters. I really loved all of the characters in here. The book begins in Sabine's perspective, which I thought was really interesting because when you hear about this book, you assume, Alis is the typical young adult heroine, right? But it starts with her best friend's perspective, which I thought was really interesting, which is kind of a tangent, but I thought that was really interesting because it let me see the hero's world from a different light. But then you kind of find out that Sabine is really kind of also a hero. I think all three of them are really heroes, and I love Sabine and Alis's relationship, their friendship, they're just like sisters. They're so close and they're so different in a lot of ways, but I think that they allow that to make them stronger. And like Alis doesn't look down on Sabine for being a little squeamish with killing and not wanting to even kill animals. And then Sabine respects Alis and is there to support her and wants to be there to help her in any way that she can. She might wonder how her friend's going to do some of the things that she's going to have to do, like kill her one true love, but she is going to support her no matter what and help her get her goals. I also love how Sabine supports Alis around Alis's mother. Even though Sabine tends to get more positive treatment from Alis's mother, she is always good at turning it around and trying to defend Alis, which I thought was really admirable. And a sign of good friendship. Basically, they're just really good friends. And honestly, they spend most of the book not even together, and I still think their friendship was really amazing. I also think Sabine's journey in this is like really great. And I love seeing where she goes from the beginning to the end. I also really like Bastian. I mean, he's He's kind of your typical YA male protagonist, little broody, little bad boy. You know, he's a thief because he's an orphan and wants revenge on them. Personally, that's like my kind of character. I'm really into that. So I liked it. I enjoyed him. I thought he was great. I liked watching his transformation. I enjoyed his friends as well. I know in comments I'd seen some complaints about some girl hate, but it didn't bother me between Alice and Jules. It didn't bother me because I see it as Jules she's a character with lots of sensitivities, but she likes to play tough. So it didn't bother me, but I like Jules and her brother Marcel. They're good side characters. So characters were certainly a win. The beginning was kind of slow and I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep reading, and I think that's because of the lack of like clear defined plot, but the characters kept me going. So third component of a book is writing. I thought this writing was fine. I think the author has, how do I say this, has a simple yet beautiful style. I think that she did a good job creating kind of the mystical atmosphere. Yeah, simple but beautiful. There's not anything like spectacular to say about it, but on the other hand, there's nothing horrible to say about it. It is simple but beautiful enough to convey kind of the feel of the story. And then enjoyment, I guess I kind of touched on this. I really enjoyed it. Like I said, it was slow in the beginning, but I stuck with it, and as I kept going, I like really enjoyed it, and I'm super excited for the second book. The enjoyment came really from the characters. I do also think that the magic is interesting, and I want to know more about the gods and how that whole thing ties in. The mythos of it that was thrown out that I'm excited to see developed more. So I definitely enjoyed this book. Are there any negatives? I talked about the plot. I don't read a ton of young adult fantasy. The closest I get would be the Shadowhunters books, which are not this kind of fantasy. This is like high fantasy, I guess, technically. So I don't have much to compare it to. So I could see how this might actually be basically like any other young adult fantasy book. I just don't have the experience with them. So go into it with that. I don't think that it really does anything completely different or new. There is a little bit of a love triangle, kind of, sort of, not really. I mentioned some people have complained about girl hate. I personally didn't think that there was much, and anything that there was didn't bother me. I thought it was reasonable. I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to think of anything and everything. What I think might set it apart from other ones, which, like I said, I don't have much experience, so I don't know. I liked that you had the perspective of three characters who were not in a love triangle together, if that makes sense. Like, the three perspectives that you get are not involved in some sort of love triangle. I feel like most fantasy young adult books I read, that is the case. And that might not actually be the case, and that's just what I've read. But I did appreciate that. If you are someone who needs star ratings, I would tally up my scores for all of those four things. So enjoyment, I give it a 5. Plot, I'll give it a 3. Characters, I'll give it a 4. And then writing, I'll also give it a 4. I would give this one a 4 stars. And I am very much looking forward to the next book, which comes out, I think, next March. So we've still got a little ways to go, but we're almost done with 2020. So we're closer than we are farther.
Editing Tori here. I just realized, apparently, that I totally forgot to even mention the cover. The cover was done by Charlie Bowater, so I will link their stuff down below and let you check out this beautiful, not shiny covered image for a minute before I continue. Enjoy.
Anyway, so that is my book talky reviewy type thing about the Bone Crier's Moon. This is my first review, so if there's anything that you would like to see specifically when I talk about books, would you like me to go into spoilery territory, let me know. I'm struggling with the review thing because I'm someone who just likes to process it as I'm reading it and then moves on with it. But I want to talk about some of the books in more detail. So that is Bone Crier's Moon by Catherine Purdy. You should go check it out. if you haven't already. Anyway, that was weird. Yeah, thanks for checking out this video, and I will see you all very soon. Bye. Hi, and welcome to my channel, Paperbound. Hello, and welcome to, that was awful. Okay. What can I say about it? I wrote notes. Where are my notes? They're on my phone. Weird. Ooh, no. Ooh, okay. Hello and welcome to my... Ooh, I don't like that. Hello